This is your stimulus check updated information. So is this fourth stimulus check going to happen? Well, it looks like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in this new $3.5 trillion budget plan that Nancy Pelosi and House Representatives are going to try to pass, get it over to the Senate, let them vote on it. Now, the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill has already been passed in the Senate. That's already been approved. It's already going through, and that's going to go over to the House Representatives. They got to vote on it. It's kind of they're flip-flopping these two bills together, but this is a $5 trillion total budget plan that the federal government is going to try to pass. Inside of this $3.5 trillion plan is the American Families Plan that President Biden is pushing. He's trying to get a lot of the stimulus plans extended out and adding new stimulus to this bill. So we'll see if they can get this passed and moving forward. Hopefully they can get some type of reoccurring payment going out to people that don't have families or people that don't have children. Now, everybody that does have children and you qualified for it, you're getting a stimulus check every month up until the month of December. But hopefully in this American Families Plan, they can add in monthly checks to people that just don't have families, which would make sense. Now, the unemployment looks like it's going to be ending on September 6th, and they might try to extend that out in this new plan. But I think it's one of those things that they're just going to throw a bunch of stuff into it, pass it, and then say, oh, this is what's in it. Because I don't know if they've really released it yet, trying to get this budget plan. They're trying to force it down really quickly to try to get passed so they can get this moving out. To me, it's a huge bill. It's a tremendous amount of debt that the federal government's going to be going into. But why not? I think they had $8 trillion over the last 2 years that they passed. So why not just add another 5 to it, print it, throw it out there. But what I want to do is cover a lot of the details for you in this video, get you caught up on all the stimulus, when these stimulus checks are going out. In fact, there's weekly checks that are going out right now from the federal government, and also there's new states that are stepping up and sending out stimulus checks. So I want to cover that for you. If you haven't done so already, there is a comment box below. You can ask questions there. I'll try to answer those for you on this video. Plus, there is a red box. Click on that. Then you subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified of all the new videos that come out about the new stimulus and what's happening with the up and coming stimulus plans that's going on right now. So in this new plan, this is going to be the Build Back Better agenda that President Biden has set up. The American Rescue Plan was the $1,400 payments that has been going out. American Jobs Plan that's been passed in the Senate, that's going to be infrastructure. It's going to be more money for roads, bridges, and a lot of infrastructure plans for green stuff like that. This other big giant budget plan is they're trying to get this reconciliation package done to where they can bypass the votes for the Senate to try to get them 60 votes. Now, every time the Democrats get in power, they want to create these big budget plans. Republicans are going to not be on board with it. Anytime the Republicans have the majority vote and they're in power, they want to have these big giant plans, and the Democrats try to block it. So it goes back and forth every time. I mean, they've been doing this for years. It's nothing new. Republicans they're gonna be against it, but then when they're in power, they're gonna have their giant bill. They're gonna try to get passed, big budget plan. So they'll get it done. They just go back and forth. Republicans will jump on board and they'll vote on it, but they're kind of against it right now, and they don't want to go out there and say, yeah, we weren't for it. But I think a lot of these states that are closing down these businesses, and there's whole new Delta variant and all that stuff that's going around right now, they're gonna have to come out with some type of universal basic income, I believe, for people that need it. And they got to come out with it pretty quick because they've just been delaying it. They've been going through back and forth. So if they can get a reoccurring payment set up for people that don't have families, I think that's going to be a good plan. Now, there is a big push for it. There is a couple of bills in the House Representatives that are trying to get passed. One of them is the Support Act, and that's going to be a $1,200 reoccurring payment going through every month. But that's something that I think President Biden is looking at. They haven't really come through and said they want to do it. If they add it to this $3.5 trillion budget plan, it would be, I mean, it'd be crazy for them to add that in there, but they might and get it through. The child tax credit payments, $3,600 for each child, is still going out. The monthly payments every month on the 15th. So that's good news for a lot of people who do have children. The payments going out every week are from people filing their returns. So if you are SSI or SSDI, you've never filed a return, what you can do is you can go to the Treasury website and you can fill out the non-filers tool. If you do that, there's a section in there called the Recovery Rebate Credit, and this allows you to pick up the first 2 checks. Because I know some of you have been commenting that you did not get your first check, the $1,200 or the $600 stimulus payment. The Recovery Rebate Credit allows you to pick up those 2 payments. I don't know why anybody would not have received those, and the only reason really is because They just didn't file their returns. Once you file your return, you can add in your bank account information in there so they can direct deposit your money into your account. You can also add in your address so they can obviously mail you a check if you don't have a bank account. Hopefully in the future, I think the Federal Reserve is going to come out with some type of Fed now stable coin where they're going to take an app, they're going to drop the money into your account, but I think they're going to force you to try to spend that money in a timely basis. There is this giant $2 monthly stimulus payments. A lot of people are getting support around that. A lot of Democrats in the House are pushing for these monthly payments. This is, I think, is going to be the kind of precursor to a universal basic income. I think they're just going to have to do it. They're going to have to print some more money and give it out to people because they've kind of doing that now, but eventually they'll start to get that on a more permanent basis. So the American Families Plan will hopefully extend out the child tax credit through the year 2025. So if you do have children between the age of really 0 and 17, you'd be getting a monthly payment over the course of the next 4 or 5 years. So that would be good if they can get that passed in this new $3.5 trillion spending plan. Bernie Sanders and all them want to get the minimum wage hike bumped up to $15 from the $7 per hour. I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on smaller businesses at $15 hourly wage. Me personally, I think the way the inflation, they're printing so much money, the minimum wage should be like $25 an hour just to keep up with inflation. The wages just don't keep up with the amount of money printing that the federal government is doing right now. So if they can get it passed, they'll put these in the new budget plan. So this new budget plan is something that Nancy Pelosi is trying to rally the Democrats right now to do that. They've been on a recess, I guess, for the summer right now, and they're trying to get enough votes in the House to try to push this through. This week, Chuck Schumer said that he is happy about this new bill. It says it's going to open up a path to improve investments in childcare, climate change, and paid leave without the need of Republican support at Congress. I think part of this $3.5 trillion budget plan will have military in there. We'll have more money for government to spend. Chuck Schumer said this is a spending on climate change, family leave, healthcare, education, and childcare. So there's going to be a lot of money spilled around through healthcare, education, and all that. If they can get another stimulus check out, that would be crazy. If they can get that out there, I think it'd be great. But I just don't know if they're going to be able to get this pushed through. But if they can get the reconciliation process to where they don't have to go through Democrats, then Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they'll push all kinds of stimulus bills out if they can get the reconciliation budget plan set up. You know, to me, it's just they're constantly adding more debt onto the ever-growing federal budget debt. It seems to me it's too much money for them to be spending. But again, who knows? Republicans, they love to spend all their big bills. Democrats, they have their big bills. Why not just join them and go with it? But it looks like a lot of money is going to be spent on a lot of committees to try to figure out what they're going to be doing. I mean, $761 billion on these education and pension committees seems like a lot of money for a group of people. But hey, those are the people that are going to benefit from it. The American Jobs Plan, I think, is going to be something that a lot of people are going to benefit from it if you are in part of that industry that is going to benefit from roads, bridges, all that money they're going to be spending on that. Definitely those people that are in that area will benefit from all that spending that's coming down with this $3.5 trillion budget plan. It's definitely good news for a lot of people that live in these states that are using the stimulus money. I think every state should be doing some type of stimulus payment. The federal government sent every state in the United States money for the stimulus. Some states got a lot more, some states got a lot less, but every state received multiple billions of dollars to support the people in that area. I know a lot of states aren't even doing anything. They should be sending out stimulus checks. California is the only state in the entire United States, if you can believe it, that's actually taken their stimulus and spending it back to their residents. So $600 for people that live in California, $500 for dependents. You have to make less than $75,000 a year in order to get these checks. Colorado, $375 was sent out to people in that state. Maryland, $500 and $300 for individuals. New Mexico is sending out $720 in New Mexico. So $5 million out of $1.8 billion they received. Seems a little stingy. I know New Mexico could probably send out a lot more money. Looks like New York, $2.1 billion fund for undocumented workers. Florida to me is stepping up and sending out pretty good checks. They're sending out $1,000 checks for teachers and administrators, but they're also sending out checks to police, firemen, any frontline workers EMTs, they're all getting a bonus check. So I like what Florida's doing. Georgia, they're sending out $1,000 checks to teachers. Michigan is another $500 hazard pay for teachers. Tennessee, $1,000 checks for teachers. So if you're a teacher or part of the administration or education, you're going to be getting bonus checks. Seems to be pretty good. Irvine is one of the biggest checks I've seen. $2,000 payments for teachers that to try to incentivize them to go back to the classroom. So $2,000 payments for those states. Now, so these are the states that are sending out stimulus checks. I don't know. I mean, new states are stepping up. I believe each state has until the end of the year to spend that stimulus money. If they have to figure out how to spend it, what they're going to do with it, and if they don't spend it on their, U.S. or their residents, I think they have to give the money back. I'm not really too sure about that, but that's what I've seen in the past from a lot of stipulations on a lot of the money that was sent out to the states. So if you have any questions on any of the stimulus, information, drop those comments or drop your questions in the comments below. So this is your daily stimulus check, updated information for.